Okay, welcome back to the Spot Hockey Show. Today, I thought it would be as good a time as ever to take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. As some of you may have seen, Tristan Jarry was waived today. I believe he's making $5.5 million for quite a few more years. I can't remember the contract off the top of my head. My apologies. But yeah, so thought today would be a good time to take a look at them. Malkin came out after the game talking about one, he was broken into last night, which is pretty terrible, and two, came out and talked about how they need to figure it out. That they are slipping from a playoff spot that they haven't really had this year. They had a good run when Tomasino had first joined the team. After that, streak of wins, losses, still below 500 for the large majority. So yeah, just wanted to take a look at that. As I said, Tristan Jarry has been waived. Current NHL standings show that they have 44 points in 46 games, 2 games below NHL 500. I want to preface NHL 500. The NHL, a little bit funky because of the overtime loss points. But yeah, regardless, quite a bit out of the playoffs as of right now. Next team that they could possibly see passing would be Columbus, but they have 4 teams to pass to, or I guess 5 technically, to pass to try to make the playoffs, and it's seeming less and less likely every day. They have more games played than the large majority of the teams that they're looking to pass. Barring the Boston Bruins, the only chance that this team has to make the playoffs that I see personally is a wildcard spot. There's no way they're going to jump into the top 3, barring one of Carolina, New Jersey, or Washington absolutely tanking from here on out. So, yeah, just want to take a look at the points via players. So, obviously, top on the list here, Sidney Crosby, 46 games, 48 points. Negative 17, which will be a bit of a trend throughout this team. I don't want to put it all on goaltending, but goaltending has not been a strong suit so far for this team, as we will see shortly. Ricard Raquel in second there, 46 games played, 22 goals, 38 points, negative 12. So a lot of dashes here. Brian Rust, 39 games played, so 7 less games played. Not entirely injury prone, I would say, but definitely more prone to injury than some of the other players on this team. Yeah, so 39 games, 17 goals, 17 assists, 34 points. Malkin, 42 games, 8 goals. You want to see that number a little bit higher. I know he's definitely on the latter half of his career, but regardless, he is still a core member of this team, and he needs to produce like one. 42 games, 8 goals, 25 assists for 33 points, negative 18. And then rounding at the top 5, Erik Karlsson, 46 games played, 4 goals, 28 assists, 32 points. So yeah, going through all these negatives here, plus minus is negative for basically everybody other than Blake Lizotte, who only has 30 games played still. And also Jack St. Ivan. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I've seen it pronounced multiple different ways, so not even going to try. Anyways, so yeah, not looking great. Tristan Jarry, obviously this year, struggling quite a bit. 22 games played. 8 wins, 8 losses, with a .886 save percentage and a 3.31 goals against average. Yeah, not great. Like I say, something that you definitely want to see come up. So yeah, just taking a look at the goals saved above expected here, which is these 2 columns here and here. Tristan Jarry with a negative 8.46, which is 53rd out of 58 goalies in the league over the entire season. He has let in 8 goals more than he should have. Yeah, not great. And save percentage, which is kind of, it's a bit of a biased stat, I would say, but still, save percentage not great. Goals against average, definitely letting in too many goals. High danger save percentage, which some people would point at and say, hey, some of the lower performing goalies, like with lower save percentages, like Mackenzie Blackwood, who's now on the Colorado Avalanche and looks great for Colorado, had a reasonably high goals saved above expected and a reasonably high danger save percentage. So Not fantastic. Yeah, I struggle to see many different ways that this team can climb into a playoff spot, especially barring their strength of schedule for the rest of the year. So coming into now, they had the seventh hardest strength of schedule in the entire league, which is definitely tough. But past this point, it hasn't really gotten that much easier. It's definitely easier. So before this, they were seventh for the hardest schedule. So 15.76 average opponent ranking. So the ranking here on Power Rankings Guru can be explained here. If you want to pause it and take a look, you can. But yeah, so seventh hardest strength of schedule, along with a few teams that they're trying to catch, which isn't great. And then for the next rest of the season, they're 15th with a 16.33. So it's definitely going to get easier from them from here on out. So even aside from all of that, looking at their lines here, and as I said previously, Malkin needs to step it up a little bit. I don't see a lot of great scoring threats other than Crosby, Raquel, I guess, and Bunting. Brian Rust is a good player. I guess you can throw Brian Rust into there. Malkin should be more of a scoring threat than he has been. He's on the second power play, which leaves that first power play unit not entirely thin. Would I like to see somebody in place of Michael Bunting on that first power play? Absolutely. Would I like to see somebody that can shoot a little bit better than Rickard Rakell? Absolutely. Rickard Rakell, great shot. Rust, decent bumper player. Bunting's good in puck retrieval at the boards and screening and all that stuff. Matt Grzelcyk can run a power play. Why they have Carlson and Letang stacked together on that second power play unit, I don't know. They've got a lot of money tied up in, especially Erik Karlsson, but they've got a decent amount in Chris Letang, and I know that they're aging players, but this is sort of the whole issue that I'm having with the Pittsburgh Penguins right now is they go into every season with the intention of making a playoff spot and going for a run, and they just haven't. And looking at their roster and looking at their lines, I don't see a place that they could go on a run and make a playoff spot. Am I saying that Sidney Crosby is going to get traded? No. I think if he were to get traded, it would have been last season. Could he be traded? Possibly. I think the chances are pretty slim at this point. Crosby, by all means, wants to stay in Pittsburgh for the rest of his career. He owns a home there. His family's been raised there. He's lived there for a large chunk of his life. He could play until he's 40 and just play through a rebuild, and I think he'd be fine with that. The guy has enough accolades that he could just retire Pittsburgh Penguin, never see a playoff, and more than likely be fine with it. I think he has a place in upper management on that team later on. Regardless, though, it's looking a little grim for this team. I don't see a possibility of them making the playoffs this year. Do I see them going on a 7-game winning streak from here on out to make a playoff spot? No. Especially with what we covered before, their goaltending stats have not been great. You need goaltending in this league to be able to do anything. Could I see Nedeljkovic going on a run and winning a bunch of games in a row? Sure, possibly. How consistent has he been this entire year? Not very consistent. Jari has been more inconsistent than Nedeljkovic, I would say. But I would also say that Nedeljkovic's highs and his lows are very drastic. His highs are very high, his lows are very low. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think of the Pittsburgh Penguins, whether or not they're going to go for a run, whether or not any of you have any faith in this team. I, as you can probably tell from the majority of this video, don't have a crazy amount of faith in this team. I love Sidney Crosby. I love Evgeni Malkin. I love Chris Letang, Carlson, or not Carlson, yeah, anyways, it's sad. I'd like to see Sid lift another cup. I'd like to see Sid do a little bit more at the end of his career. I hope that everything I said in this video ends up being wrong and they make a playoff spot and they look good in the playoffs. But yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Click like, click subscribe, all that fun stuff. Bye.